When I first got here, I would cut all over my legs, and I would not eat for like a week at a time, and then whenever I would eat, I would just purge immediately. And I want to say March, I tried to kill myself, actually. I did not have very good times.
Daniel, thanks for coming in, and I'm anxious to hear, how did you end up coming to Heartlight in the first place? What was going on at home, and what was spinning around in your life that somebody would say, hey, you need to go to Heartlight?
There was a lot happening at home. Like, it ranged from like drugs and like self-harm to like depression and suicidal ideations. And
where do you think all that started?
I'd say that the drugs started whenever I was 9th grade, freshman year.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. I was hanging out with one of my friends at a park.
Yeah.
And like one of his friends came in his car, and I hopped into the car, and he had like a dab pen, like a cart sitting in the middle console, and asked if I could hit it. And that was the first time I ever got high, and I realized that like I liked it more than like my regular life.
Wow. More than the depression?
Yeah. Like my home life was getting to a point where being high was a better point.
Yeah.
Better feeling than being at home.
Well, and I think a lot of people would probably feel that, don't you?
Yeah.
That if they're under pressure, they want some relief from that, and so that's kind of an easy escape.
Yeah.
What was going on at home that was causing it to be so hard?
My relationship with my father
Really?
It hasn't been good in years. It's been a lot of verbal arguments and some physical, and it's just, for years, it's been pretty bad.
And so, how old were you in 9th grade when everything kind of started?
Drugs started in 9th grade. Everything started going real downhill in about 8th grade.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you remember something that kind of set it off?
There wasn't like any like real thing that kind of set it off. It was more just like a gradual like drifting away, and my parents not like wanting to let me away, and it just caused a lot of conflict, and it escalated vastly from there.
So then the drug thing starts happening. Did you see other things start to go downhill as well?
Oh yeah, things went farther down after the drugs started.
Yeah, tell me about it.
So after I started doing drugs, I got caught with like a vape, I think.
Yeah.
And my parents really freaked out about that. And I don't know, my relationship with my parents went down, my school went down.
Wow.
My life was, it just turned around.
Wow.
It was awful.
So, I mean, if you're suicidal and you start doing the drugs, it takes away everything for a little while.
Yeah.
But then when you kind of, get off your high, did it take you a little bit deeper into those thoughts of suicide?
That's the thing. I got to the point where I was smoking every day, like all day. I would smoke like 5 times a day.
Wow.
I just wanted to live high. It got really bad. Like, I would wake up early so that I would have time to smoke before I went to school. And then at school I would smoke in the middle of the day. Then right as I got home I would smoke. Then right after dinner I would smoke. Then right before I went to bed I would smoke. So
it was just constant.
It was all the time.
Your parents know that?
They do now.
Did they know that then, that's what was going on?
I'm sure they had an idea, but I would never say it to them, though.
Wow. So when you came to Heartlight, what was that decision like when they said, hey, you're going someplace?
Well, they actually didn't tell me. I was transported
whenever
I came here, so that was a surprise.
Well, so they transport you. Was that hard, going from getting high 5 times a day to now not doing that?
It was definitely a transition. Definitely. I wouldn't say it was really hard, because like it wasn't a choice that I made. I just didn't have access to it, but it definitely took some adjusting to living a normal life.
Okay, but then did that expose the depression and all that again?
Oh,
so
definitely.
So that rose back to the top?
Yeah, it definitely did.
Wow, and how did you see that happening?
When I first got here, I would cut all over my legs, and I would not eat for like a week at a time, and then whenever I would eat, I would just purge immediately, and I did not have very good times. And around, I want to say March, I tried to kill myself, actually, in New Lodge, and I went to psych for like a week and a half.
Wow. Did that help?
It helped a little bit, but there wasn't like real change till a couple months ago.
Yeah, and what happened a couple of months ago that kind of said, okay, I got to do something different?
Well, I was in New Lodge for about 5 months.
Yeah.
I just kind of realized that, like, if I ever wanted to get out of here, I either had to get kicked out and go to another program, or I had to start working to get out. And so I decided that I wanted to move up, and I think that's whenever like real change started happening and people started noticing it. Yeah. Like people have seen mood change, like just drastic mood changes. Like I'm on track to get level 4 now. Like it's just even my parents see the difference. Yeah. In how I was acting to how.
And what do you attribute that to?
I think that I got a break for the first time a few weeks ago, and I think that definitely helped me get more motivated to come back home. Yeah, yeah. And also getting put on meds for like depression probably helped that a lot too.
Well, I mean, because it's evident you've been self-medicating. I mean, it's because you wanted something different. I mean, most people who are smoking 5 times a day, they're dealing with something that they want to get over. Okay, so what's the major change that you've seen in you?
It's probably my willingness to have a relationship with my family.
Wow.
Because whenever I first got here, I didn't want a relationship with my dad, and I especially didn't want one with my dad, but I was iffy with my mom. Yeah. And now I'm willing to start rebuilding my relationship with my dad, and I've started having a pretty good relationship with my mom in the past couple months.
Good. You love your parents?
Yeah, I do.
You know they love you?
Yeah, now I do.
Did that get lost?
Oh.
Where you just thought, okay, nobody loves anybody here? And
yeah, I didn't think that my parents loved me at all.
That just seems so hopeless to me.
It was.
Well, my prayer for you is that you make the most of your time. Yeah. You know, and restore those relationships. I know that you've been placed in that family for a reason. Yeah. You know, and I know you're capable of it. Everybody's been making comments about the big change that they see in you. Yeah. And so I'm glad to hear you talk about it. And, of course, I always take pictures and I see you goofing off with stuff. Yeah. And it's just hilarious to me, all the pictures you're in. But I go, there's a good kid underneath all of this, and you are a good guy. And I know you can do it and get on top of all this stuff. So that's cool. Well, thanks for coming in and sharing your story, okay?
No problem.
Hey, wonderful. Thanks.
Yeah.